Hey everyone, it's Brett Hornby here, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, and welcome back to another on the road to the Grey Cup, the 109th Grey Cup that will eventually be played in Regina, Saskatchewan. Well, you can see in the previous video, I already previewed the East semi-final that will have the Montreal Alouettes and the Hamilton Tiger Cats. However, in this video, now we're going to preview the West semi-final, which will have the BC Lions and my Calgary Stampeders. So what I have done in past years, as I've always done, is I give an outlook on the matchup, look at the playoff history, as well as breaking down who has the edge, and then give my prediction pick'em style on who I think is going to win and my confidence. But before getting into the notes, if you want to follow along with this Calgary sports fan's journey, just make sure you hit like, subscribe, and also same thing on my second channel in Brett Hornby Shorts. I already did say in the East semi-final video, this video has been delayed because of my schedule and how I've been feeling. So bear with me if I have to cough a few times, but I don't quite sound right in this video. So let's get going to the Western semifinal, as this will be on Sunday, November the 6th, 2022. This will be a 2:30 Mountain kickoff at BC Place, and the winner of this game will eventually take on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in Winnipeg for the Western final. A week later, to be one step closer to the Grey Cup. So records, well, both teams actually finished 12-6, but the BC Lions finished second in the West, and they were 6-3 at home. While the Calgary Stampeders, they were third in the West, but they were 7-2 on the road. So why did BC get the home field advantage and get to play inside the dome as opposed to being out here in the snow and cold in Calgary? Well, the BC Lions did win the season series. As Calgary and BC played each other 3 times during the regular season. The first time was Week 10. This happened on Saturday, August the 13th. The BC Lions, they squeaked one out, 41-40 in Calgary. As Nathan Rourke, I remember, almost threw for 500 yards and completed a couple third and longs for that. So that was Week 10. And then Week 15, this happened on Saturday, September the 17th. The game once again was in Calgary. The BC Lions squeaked that one out with a 31-29 victory in overtime. So BC clinched the season series right there. However, Week 16, on Saturday, September the 24th, the following week, the Calgary Stampeders got some revenge as they defeated the BC Lions 25-11 in BC. So the BC Lions did take the season series 2-1, which is why they're hosting the game. However, the road team won all 3 games. So could this be a factor in this one, especially when you're looking at records and season series? So now when it comes to playoff history, I'd like to take a look at the last 3 times that Calgary and BC have played each other in the playoffs. This one also kind of favors Calgary. As BC has been a while since they've had a few years that they've made the playoffs consistently. But the last time Calgary and BC played each other in the playoffs was the 2016 Western Final. This happened on Sunday, November the 20th. The game was in Calgary. The Calgary Stampeders destroyed the BC Lions 42-15. And then the year before, in 2015 West semifinal, this game happened on Sunday, November the 15th. The game was once again in Calgary. The Calgary Stampeders defeated the BC Lions 35-9. And then, excuse me, and then goes back to the 2012 Western Final. This happened on Sunday, November the 18th, and that game was in BC. The Calgary Stampeders actually pull off the upset and beat the BC Lions 34-29. So the last 3 times we played the BC Lions in the playoffs, my Calgary Stampeders came out victors. And I'm thinking, looking back, I think the last time the BC Lions defeated Calgary in a playoff game, I think it was the 2000 West Final, when the game was here. I think that's the last time the BC Lions, if I'm not mistaken, has beaten Calgary in a playoff game. So, could be some history on Calgary's side right here. So now the last playoff win for both teams. Well, the last playoff win the BC Lions had was the 2016 Western Semifinal. That was on Sunday, November the 13th. As the BC Lions, they squeaked one out against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, 32-31. That game was in BC. Well, the Calgary Stampeders' last playoff win was the 106th Grey Cup in Edmonton in 2018. That was on Sunday, November the 25th, where the Calgary Stampeders defeated the Ottawa Redblacks 27-16. So, still some gaps between when the last time each team had a playoff win. So now if we bring up the article, let's take a look at who has the edge in each position of the game. And starting with the quarterback, and this is going to be an interesting matchup for both sides, as both teams are going with a young quarterback making their first playoff start, with Jake Maier with Calgary, as well as Nathan Rourke for BC. And if Nathan Rourke didn't have to have foot surgery during the middle of the season, he almost could have thrown for 5,000-6,000 yards. So based on that alone, I'm going to say the BC Lions do have the edge in quarterback. Although what's interesting is both teams do have a proven veteran backing up, with Vernon Adams Jr. for BC and Bo Levi Mitchell for Calgary. So BC does have the advantage at quarterback, I'm going to say, especially with the game at home. Running back, this will be a little bit of a mismatch, I'm going to say. James Butler is the star running back for the BC Lions, and he was second in rushing. I believe second, yeah, Brady Oliveira was third. However, Calgary has Kadeem Carey, who led the league in rushing. He didn't get to play in every game. And they have Dedrick Mills as well. So this could be a mismatch for the Calgary Stampeders over the BC Lions. So I like the running game when it comes to this matchup to the Calgary Stampeders. Now the receivers, this is where this could be interesting. I think the BC Lions do have some big-time receivers when it comes to Brian Burnham and Dominique Rhymes. And Lucky Whitehead, actually, I understand, will not be playing in this game. Calgary does have Reggie Bakesley and Kamar Jordan, and also hear that Malik Henry will be playing. However, with also Canadian agents, Sindani, Hakanavu, Hunchak Philpott, and then BC does have Keon Hatcher, another big receiver. I'm going to still give the slight edge to BC Lions in this one, as they do have the big-time marquee receivers. So far things are looking good for the BC Lions. However, when it comes to the offensive line, actually Calgary did lose Derek Dennis, but as a unit, led by Sean McEwen for the Calgary Stampeders, they actually have allowed the fewest sacks in the league, and with the best running game, yards per game, all season, Calgary has the edge when it comes to the offensive line. So, depending on how you look at the offense, when it comes to passing game, BC's got the edge. However, when it comes to the running game, Calgary's got the edge. And I'm going to say when it comes to protection, Calgary's got the edge. Now when it comes to the defensive line, this is where I think it's going to be very, very interesting for both sides. I mean, Alvin Glatcham is one of the top Canadian linebackers in the Canadian Football League for the BC Lions, as well as Betts and Dave Bernard. However, I like our group. It was pretty scary with Sean Levin, who is the most outstanding player nominee for the West, with Mike Rose, Derek Wynn, Farnell, Mandy. I think they're going to definitely put the heat on the BC Lions, so Calgary will have the edge when it comes to the defensive line. Linebackers, well, we picked up Cameron Judge, and Calgary did not have Cameron Judge in that game that we won in BC because there was an incident with him and Lucky Whitehead. I'm feeling Lucky Whitehead's not playing in this game, but I'm going to say with Cameron Judge and Jameer Thurman, once again, Calgary looks scary on the defense in level 2. Over level 3, this is where I think things could turn for the BC Lions, as they are led with Mary Peters, Marcus Sales, and Ryan Phillips. Calgary does have like Jonathan Moxey and Jermaine Washington. However, I think the BC Lions in the secondary does have the edge. So when it comes to levels 1 and 2 in the defense, Calgary's got the edge, but level 3, that would go to the BC Lions. Now the return game, it'd be interesting to see who Calgary employs, because Peyton Logan will not be tested for this game. Well, Terry Williams, who got picked up from Ottawa, is now with the BC Lions. Depending on who Calgary uses, if they have Jalen Philpott, they did say in the article that the return game to give the edge to Calgary, assuming Peyton Logan is playing. However, I'm going to say it's a push. I'm going to say whoever stands out in the return game. Right now on paper, I think it's even when it comes to the return game. Then when it comes to the kicking game, well, you got Rene Paredes and Cody Grace for Calgary, and you got Sean White and Stephen Flintoft for the BC Lions. This one I'm going to say is another pick 'em. It's a even matchup. I'm going to say Rene Paredes was definitely willing to look at redeeming himself after not having a good game last year in Saskatchewan. So when it comes to special teams, I'm going to say it's even on both sides. It depends on who has a big day. So that's the edge. When it comes to offense, the passing game, I'll give it to BC. Running game, I'll give it to Calgary. Then when it comes to the defense, levels 1 and 2 goes to Calgary, but level 3 goes to BC, and the special teams it's even. So wouldn't be surprised if this is another close game, like those 2 games that were in Calgary. But you never know. So now this part of the video, this is where I talk about this team will win if. BC will win if Nathan Rourke lights it up. If he has a big game, over 400 yards passing, I think BC will be going to Winnipeg. BC will win if James Butler, if he outruns Calgary's duo of Kadeem Carey and Dedrick Mills. And maybe Tommy Stevens. He'll run an 85-yard quarterback sneak again this week. So that depends there. And I put down Terry Williams big in the return game. If he has a big game and he returns, either returns one for a touchdown or give great field position for BC's offense, I'm going to say BC will win. Calgary will win if Jake Maier spreads out the offense. Because one thing that Jake Maier did well in the game that we won, he spread the ball around. And obviously, Reggie Bagleton, Malik Henry, Kamar Jordan is going to get a lot of attention. But that should open up the door for maybe one of our Canadian receivers, like Richie Sindati, or also Jalen Philpott, or Luther Hakanavu. If he's able to get them the ball a couple passes, I'm going to say we should be able to balance our offense. And that's one thing that Jake Maier has done well since taking over for Bo. Calgary win if the run game delivers like it did all season. If we outrun the BC Lions with our running game, we should win this one. And then Calgary win if our secondary has a big game, suppress the receivers. Let's say if like a Jonathan Moxey or Brad Mohammed or Jermaine Washington, if they block any interceptions in that, frustrate the BC receivers, I think we'll win this one. So when it comes to the weather forecast, well, it's going to be 5 degrees and rain, 6% showers in the afternoon for high, and then low they said 2 degrees, showers, mix of flurries. However, that means that the roof will be closed in BC Place, so weather will not be a factor because it's in BC Place. It's expected to be a very hostile environment because I understand over 40,000 tickets have been sold, upper deck's been filled up. So this could be a hostile territory for the Calgary Stampeders. So that could be another factor for both sides. Could the BC Lions get their crowd going to their advantage? Or Calgary, could they shut their crowd down and only have Calgary Stampeder fans happy? So that's going to be the bonus factor for both sides. Now the last part of this video. This is where my smart ball will come into play as give my prediction on who I think is going to win the West semifinal and take on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers next week. So I've got white right now. So if I pick the BC Lions, it's going to be orange, or orangish. Let's try to find the right orange. So if I pick the BC Lions, it'll be orange. If I pick the Calgary Stampeders, it'll be red. So who do I have winning the West semifinal? Is it the BC Lions or the Calgary Stampeders? BC Lions or the Calgary Stampeders? Well, before you call me biased, I think the Calgary Stampeders will take this one. I give them a 65% confidence. The reason why I think my Calgary Stampeders will be winning this one and going to Winnipeg next week is those two games that we lost by a combined 3 points here in Calgary. Calgary had a chance to potentially put them away, and they didn't. However, it was that dominant win in BC that convinced me that the Calgary Stampeders can play with one of the top teams in the league. And Jake Bear that game had one of the Player of the Week honors. So I think with Calgary's balanced offense, and I'm going to say a threatening defense, I think the Calgary Stampeders will have what it takes to defeat the BC Lions and go on to take on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers for the West Final to be one step closer to the 109th Grey Cup in Regina. So who do you think is going to win the West semifinal between the BC Lions and the Calgary Stampeders? So anyways, like I say, if you want to follow along with this Calgary sports fans' journey, home of the Flames, Hitmen, Roughnecks, Stampeders, just make sure you like, subscribe. I do mostly have Calgary sports on my channel, recap games, stories, battles, share moments with them on the road or a sport event, and have some vlogging to go. So if that all sounds like the interesting to watch, to follow along this Calgary sports fans' journey, you know what you do, just make sure you like, subscribe. I have my other social links down in the description below for other ways you can follow me, and I do have my second channel in Brett Hornby Shorts, where I exclusively put my short film content there. For example, I'll recap what happens at all playoff games leading up to the 109th Grey Cup in Regina. So I just want to say thanks for watching, thanks for bearing with my fighting this cold, but hopefully you get to enjoy the CFL playoffs. I promise that the finals videos will be up a little earlier because my schedule looks a little better then. So I just want to say thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.